This is Spotlight, a series inspired by Spin's journey of reimagining mobility in cities. Join us as we host conversations with innovators and influencers who are shaking things up.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Spin Spotlight podcast. I'm Cam Mullen, and today I'm joined with Katie Sowers, who's an absolute change maker as the assistant offensive coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Thank you for joining us, Katie.
Thanks so much for having me.
And so it's about 3 p.m. on a Friday in November. You have a game on Sunday. What are you up to today? What are you up to in prep for the game?
So basically just came straight from practice here. We had a team meeting. We had, it's players, it's coaches, it's scouts, it's everyone really talking about the things that we need to get done. Friday's really our last practice before the big game. So, it's kind of the last hurrah before we get on the field on Sunday.
And so tomorrow's day off on Saturday?
So on Saturday we'll have a walkthrough. It's a very short day. Kind of just we'll go through some of our openers, we'll go through, some end of game situations, things like that. But other than that, the game plan's in, and what's done is done. And hopefully we show it on Sunday.
Yeah, I look forward to watching. And so at Spin, we believe it's not just the destination, but it's about the journey. And so we'd love to hear a bit about your journey, and maybe we start all the way at the beginning, right? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and where it was, what was going on, and how eventually it led you, on the football field as a coach here in Santa Clara.
Yeah, absolutely. So my journey, and I every time that I talk about my journey, my path, I think we all have this idea of where we want our journey to go or where we want the destination to be, but it never quite pans out like you expected. But in my opinion, that is your journey, that is your destination. And so for me, it started out, I loved football. I mean, it was a natural love. I have all these journal entries where I would write about football. And just,
how early on?
I definitely had really poor spelling and bad handwriting, but it was probably around 7-8 years old. I would play in the backyard with my twin sister. We would call all the boys up in the neighborhood, and it was just a natural love. But I didn't think girls could play football. That was kind of what society told me. That was what I saw on TV. So I decided, my dad was a collegiate basketball coach. I decided to kind of go the basketball route. Played a number of different sports in college, and then ended up just finding women's tackle football after college, which is kind of where I found that second chance at football.
You tried a few sports. What is it about football specifically that you fell in love with compared to all these other, great sports?
In college, I played 4 years of basketball, 2 years of track and field, a year of soccer, and a year of softball, and then had a chance to play football. And so in my experience, football is the one sport where you have so many different types of people that have to come together to do their 1/11th to make the team work. And you see that more so than in any other sport. You need big people, you need small people, you need fast, you need, every different type of person has a place in football. And that's what's so unique about it.
Oh, cool. I like that. That makes sense. Not everyone is shooting a three-pointer.
No, they're all doing their 1/11th to make the machine operate the way it's supposed to.
So you've had experiences on the field as a player, and obviously now you're on the sidelines as a coach. So I'm curious, tell us a little bit about the roles and the challenges in both of these positions on the field.
So I had a unique experience as I was playing when I was an adult. I learned the game as an adult because I didn't have a chance to really truly learn the ins and outs of football when I was younger. But when I played on our women's team, I kind of was in a unique position. I think it was about year 5 or 6, I was actually a play caller and a quarterback at the same time. So I was a coach and a player. So I transitioned from playing to coaching together. And then after I was done, went into coaching. But there's obstacles to both sides, but I guess I wouldn't even say they're obstacles because they're challenges that just make you grow and make you a better teammate, a better part of the puzzle within your organization.
And one thing I'd love to get your take on is this adjective coachable. And so whether it's on the football field or another athletic sport or any type of team with a mentor and a mentee, people talk about it's great you're looking for someone that's coachable.
Right.
I'm curious, what does that mean to you?
To me, being coachable, leading a team is really trying to get people on the same page, going in the same direction. For those who don't know a lot about football, I mean, there's so many different schemes, there's so many different coverages. I mean, there's so many different ways to win a football game. There's not one blueprint.
Okay.
But in my opinion, it's who can get everybody in your organization, in your team, moving in the same direction towards the same goal. And when you are able to get those people who buy into whatever it is that you're selling, that's when you move in the direction of whatever your ultimate goal is. And for us, it's a Super Bowl.
Okay, wow. So leadership is a huge part of getting people behind you.
Leadership, being authentic, getting people to trust you, trust what your vision is, trust what your intentions are. When you get that buy-in, when you have that, and you're authentic, and you're that leader that is not leading in a direction that is, I guess, selfish, or it's a team first attitude. You get that buy-in and you get those people moving in the same direction.
And is the vision for every team in the NFL, you think, to win that Super Bowl? Or are there different visions with different teams?
I think everybody starts out with a vision to, you want to win the Super Bowl, but oftentimes there's the realistic things that happen throughout that season, injuries, drafting new players, building a team. I mean, building a team doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you build. It's something that you start at the foundation and you just keep putting blocks on blocks on blocks. And sometimes that takes time. Of course, you want to win the Super Bowl right away, but like as you see with us, we started out with our first 2 years when I was here with the 49ers, we struggled. We had injuries. We had some hard seasons, but it takes time, and we just stuck to the path, and here we are, with a winning record.
And so, coaching is something that you think has come natural. Is it something that you are studying and reading about? Is it something that you're taking your own experiences and learning from? How do you become a great coach?
First of all, you have to have the passion to do it. You have to have the passion to want to help people, to want to guide people, to want to lead people. I always knew I wanted to be a coach. My dad was a coach. He was a teacher. My mom was the director of nursing. I mean, teaching and coaching is in my family. And so it was always something that I knew I wanted to do. It was either going to be coaching, teaching, or counseling. And I found a way to get all three in one is really what I'm doing, coaching. So to me, that's you have to be passionate about it, and you have to want to do it, because if you don't, you're wasting your time.
And what's the story of how you first entered the NFL? I seem to remember there was something to do with coaching a young girls basketball team. Can you tell us that story of how you got to the NFL from there?
Yeah, so as much as I love football, as much as I was open-minded, I was progressive, or so I thought, I never knew that coaching football could be an option. It was never even something that came into my mind until I saw Becky Hammon coaching in the NBA. And this was before any female had ever coached in the NFL. And I posted on my Instagram, NFL, I'm coming for you. And that was when I knew that this was an opportunity. It was a chance for me. But I didn't know how I was going to get there. I just knew I was going to get there.
And you posted a picture of Becky Hammon?
I posted a picture of Becky Hammon, and then myself coaching my youth grade, my eighth grade football team.
Okay.
And so it was something that I knew was going to happen, but I just didn't know how, and I just knew I had to continue to work to be the best at whatever it was I was doing that day. And I needed to make some extra money, and I was going to be set up to actually coach a sixth grade girls basketball team, and they messed up the scheduling, and they're like, "We're so sorry, we actually put you with the fifth graders, is this okay?" And I don't know the difference between fifth graders and sixth graders. So, and it just so happened that the fifth grade team had Scott Pioli, who was former general manager for the Chiefs. His daughter was on that team. And so had that scheduling mishap not happened, I might not be here today. So it was that led me to meeting my now mentor and good friend, Scott Pioli, who really he was assistant general manager for the Falcons. That's, kind of how I got my internship there. And he really taught me the culture of the NFL and got to know me and my passion where I was going.
Wow, what an awesome story. And are you in contact with Becky Hammon? Have you guys connected?
We have not connected.
Okay.
No, I know.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I think she might follow me on I follow her on Instagram, liking
Okay.
pictures all the time. I think she started following me. I hope she didn't unfollow me.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay.
That's about as far as it goes.
I'm sure, I have a feeling you guys will cross paths relatively soon.
Yeah.
Are there any favorite examples of what a great coach does in the NFL or in your experience beyond the NFL or before, or that you want that maybe you remember when making decisions, or on the other side, maybe the wrong thing to do that you've learned from or you've seen someone do that isn't the right way? Sometimes those little examples help me in circumstances kind of remember what to do and what not to do. Anything stand out that you'd want to share?
Yeah, the when I knew I wanted to coach, I wish I could find this, but I started a journal where I would write things that I liked about coaches that I had, things that I didn't like. Mm-hmm. And one thing that always stuck out to me was when I had a coach that not only knew the game, but cared about me as a person. Mm-hmm. That was what really drove me to be a better player for them and play for them and play to my potential, was knowing that I had people who were looking after me. And so that's one thing I've always tried to implement, with jobs, with any coaching experiences I had, was really truly caring about them as people, not just athletes.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And I think that applies beyond football in leadership everywhere. And I guess the last thing I'm thinking about with coaching is, and we're talking about this a little bit off camera, about the relationships between coaches and teams and players and teams. And as there is so much overlap with, connections on the Packers to connections on the 49ers, when you're playing a team, do you have to take into consideration what they know based off, past experiences and mix up the playbook? Or how do you think about that and approach it?
Yeah, you don't want to overthink too much, because then you just start overthinking and you start to kind of outplay yourself. Okay. In this league, you're pretty familiar with every coordinator that is in the game. If it's a defensive coordinator, we're pretty familiar with their scheme, what they're trying to do, just like other teams are with our scheme and what we're trying to do. So that, that's just something that you always have to take into consideration. But at the end of the day, you want your team to play the best that they can, and you don't want to outthink yourself.
Let's look ahead a little bit. Let's look at the future. And so one thing I think about here, we think about at Spin, is always, how do we make good decisions using data? Mm-hmm. And we look at how things are performing and what's not performing, and we look at how customers are, maybe what behaviors we see a lot and what we see less of. I'd love to get a sense from you on, nowadays with all the technology and things available, how are you taking advantage of that to make informed, good decisions?
Yeah, technology continues to improve everywhere, no matter what organization you're in. And for us, we have a better capability of seeing speeds that players are running, specific routes drawn up that we can actually pull up on the computer, the exact route that they ran, or what their route tree typically looks like. So that's stuff that I've even just seen develop within the 4 years that I've been in the league. It's something that's continuing to evolve, and it just takes a lot of people really, trying hard to adjust, because sometimes change can be hard. And even when it's technology that's going to help you, change is difficult. But once you truly understand that technology and the ways that it can help you, it makes life so much easier. You
mentioned tracking speed or actual routes people are taking. Is that on both your team you're looking at and competitors' teams?
Yep, anybody.
And so I heard a little bit about this. I heard that there is, I heard that there are chips that are put inside. Can you tell us what those chips are and where they are and what they do?
I've never seen the chip, but I know it's there. But yeah, it tracks everything that players are doing, speeds throughout the game. There are times throughout the game where you'll see who has the fastest speed in the game so far. And it's little things like that. It's fun to kind of pay attention to, and it's cool that we have the ability to see that now.
And so it's a small chip somewhere in the pads on every player, and then that data of how they run around is shared to the coaches of the team, but also you can view the opposing team's data as well. Is that right?
Yep. You can look at, if I wanted to look up who has the fastest route, I can look it up and find it. I can really look up anything that I want to. When someone is in the slot position, how often did they have an out route, or did they have an in-breaking route? Things like that I can pull up easily with the technology.
Wow, that's wild. And when did that start? Do you know? Was it?
I don't know when exactly it started. We really started to implement it. It was introduced to us, I want to say last year and a half ago. So it's still fairly new, but it's pretty cool to play around with.
Well, a couple more quick questions. One is, I've got to know, when it's a nail-biting situation, the fourth quarter tie game, and your team has the ball, how do you, what kind of things do you tell your team in order to perform at their best?
Yeah, so I am so half of the coaching staff goes up to the box and half is on the field. And I'm part of the coaching staff that goes up to the box. So, but one thing that I always make sure, at halftime when we're in the locker room, before the games, I think, the most important thing you can say to a player is, I believe in you. And that's what Bill Walsh always would say. And so when we last two games ago, we had a lot of drops, within the receiving core, and it's that moment where you really have to make sure that players know that we still believe in them, because it gives them more confidence. They have all the ability in the world, and sometimes all they need is just someone to say, I believe in you, and it can turn the game around.
People that have been on the field with various different coaches know that some yell, some are super inspirational, some are passive, some are quiet. Yeah. Do you have a certain style or characteristics that you would use to describe what it's like in those intimate moments?
Yeah, I've always been, as a player and as a coach, I am that type that I'm not going to give a motivational speech until I feel it, and oftentimes I feel it a lot. So there would always be a lot of jokes that, oh, Katie has something to say, here we go. But I guess, it's something that everything that I say, I want it to be authentic. I don't want to force it. I don't want to, it's something that just comes out in the moment. And I'm not one that's going to have the no shit comments, catch the ball, no shit. I don't know if we can cuss on this. But, it's one of those things where it's, you say things that mean something, that are going to make them better, that are going to help the game. And I'm not a yeller. I'm more of a leader, a guider. Yeah.
Wow. A couple quick questions from people around that I want to quickly get your take on.
Okay.
Do you play Madden?
I do not play Madden. Okay. I did when I was younger, but not anymore. I've grown out of that.
What's your favorite restaurant in the world?
Oh, in the world, wow. Oh man, I'm gonna have to say Fazoli's.
Where's Fazoli's?
What?
Is that here?
Have you never had their garlic breadsticks?
I'm not.
It's kind of like a. I can't believe I just said Fazoli's, but it's kind of true.
What city is Fazoli's in? Which
Fazoli's?
Fazoli's?
It was in Wichita. It's a chain.
Okay. Is there one specific one that you would go to?
Fazoli's. What the heck are we doing right now?
Okay.
Where's the marketing team?
All right. By the way, this is sponsored by Fazoli's. Just want to thank them for connecting us.
Yeah.
Do you drink coffee?
Every day. Shots of espresso. Okay. Dark coffee, yes.
What's the number one key to increasing confidence?
Being authentic and being yourself, and having the belief in yourself by doing what it takes to get better.
Do you have a pregame meal?
Or
any superstitions before the game?
I will have Velveeta shells after the game, but like the instant kind.
Okay. Mac and cheese.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, mac and cheese is my jam. It really is.
Last thing, right now, your go-to song. So you open up your phone, whatever music service you use, and if you want to check right now to find the song, you're welcome to.
Let's see.
What's making you feel best right now?
You know, the song that I love is, wait for it.
We'll link it in the description below.
We're gonna link it once
And blow this artist up.
And we're gonna blow this artist up because I don't want to ruin this question because it is. Oh shoot, that's not it. 10,000 Hours.
By Macklemore.
No, Dan and Shay.
Dan and Shay.
And Justin Bieber. Ooh, Justin Bieber's in that?
All right. So we'll have to listen to that. Katie Sowers, that's Katie Sowers' Spin on Life, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Woo!